Ton, this is great, man. Really, really excited to have the opportunity here to speak with you. And the topic of compensation, I mean, there's so many facets to it, right? And you obviously have a tremendous amount of experience here in the space, whether it's partnering with founders, investors, companies, small and large. And myself, having sort of tried to understand this and ramp up on this over the last couple of years, really want to understand there's all the different areas, right, when it comes to comp, whether it's salary, bonus, equity, benefits. Kicking off a new startup here, you got to have a plan. And I think understanding what it means to create a plan there. Where do I begin? Like, what's the right approach here? What are the first steps?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think one of the biggest things that I've always talked about over the years is outside of just, paying more or less or how you're paying to market and what you're defining the market. It's really a common theme of trying to be consistent. And consistency is not the notion of paying everybody the same, but how do we get to a program where we can share that we have a consistent approach in how we bring people into the organization from a comp and equity perspective. Now, how do we start thinking about that? I mean, look, I think one of the biggest things is planning. I really try to focus on doubling down in that planning area, especially now with distributed workforces. You've got to understand who's being impacted really, because it may not necessarily be your whole product and engineering team, right? What roles, where, and bringing in your partners. I mean, your talent partners, even your finance partners are going to be critical in spending a lot of time developing that hiring plan out, because when you do the work in establishing, whether it's cities or thinking about regional talent areas that you're going to try to hire a lot of folks in, that's critical in establishing a consistent pay structure and a pay philosophy. And, all those inputs from your recruitment team around talent and what type of talent is important as it relates to the overall development of, how you're going to mark your pay for those roles. And I think the other thing is when we're talking about this, you have to be very cognizant about when you're opening up the remote aspect. How's this going to impact your current team, right? Have you addressed how you're going to handle the normalization if somebody's moving from a high, pay market to a lower pay market? And we're seeing a lot of companies make those determinations where I think it's. There are a few companies out there that can say, hey, we're just going to pay based on Bay Area rates, and that's going to be our standard. I mean, if you can do that, that's, obviously it becomes, you're much more competitive from that dollar and equity perspective. But I think most companies are not going to be able to do that. So when you think about that, what is the strategy when you normalize somebody? And it could be, time-based, and then maybe an offsetting bonus when they are normalized. So, they can kind of phase into that. But those are all important aspects, and you got to have those discussions well in advance before you kind of say, hey, we're going remote. Let's go figure out where the best talent is.